At midnight, I climbed up to the company's rooftop. I ended up being discovered by the female boss, my beloved supervisor. The boss feared I was contemplating suicide and called out, "Don't jump, whatever the problem is, I will solve it for you." I replied, "I need a wife, find me one." She helplessly gritted her teeth and said, "I will be your wife. Now, come down." I thought to myself, I just came up here for some air, why is she so stressed? As the new year approached, the company sent out a holiday notice. But who would happily work until New Year's Eve? Are they expecting my dog to cook a reunion dinner? Or for us grumpy employees to make dumplings together in the office? I had to work overtime tonight, and the more I thought about it, the more annoyed I got. My mother even messaged me, scolding me for not being married at my age. My phone kept ringing, and messages flooded in. I had to go to the rooftop for some peace. As soon as I got up to the roof, another message arrived. But this time, it wasn't my mother, it was my manager. This afternoon, the company treated everyone to afternoon tea, and my manager told me to front the money. I sent him the payment record. That kid didn't bother to reimburse me until the evening. Just as I was about to receive the money, I saw the transferred amount and went blank. I clearly spent $613, but he only transferred $600. Instantly, boundless anger surged up. I called the manager right away. "Are you blind? What's wrong? Is the company closing tomorrow? $613, and you only transferred $600? Don't you have $13? Then why do you pretend to be rich normally? You what? Shut up. If you don't need your mouth, donate it to someone who does." I was peacefully enjoying the air on the rooftop until you interrupted me. "I'm going to jump from here. Blood will splatter all over the company gate. Later, even a dog passing by will pee and curse the exploiter." The wind on the company's rooftop in Chicago was too strong. The whistling noise drowned out my curses. I wasn't sure how much the manager heard, but he hung up immediately anyway. I stood beside the rooftop railing. It seemed someone had lingered here before. There were a few cigarette butts and a coffee can on the ground. I was so angry I couldn't stand it, so I kicked the coffee can. "Die, you exploitative female boss." Clang, the coffee can didn't hit the door. The door opened at that exact moment, and the coffee can hit a person's head. Seeing clearly who the woman was, I quickly ran to the side in fear. Don't jump, we can talk about this." The woman, whose face was initially full of irritation from being hit, let out a piercing scream when she saw me. "Don't jump, let's talk things through properly. I will take responsibility for you." This person could indeed take responsibility for me. Because she was my female boss, the one who held the real power of the company, Katherine Johnson. I had only met her once at the company's annual party. She looked young and very beautiful. But she was the boss. No one likes a cruel and exploitative boss. "Don't do anything rash." Katherine Johnson anxiously hopped but dared not move forward. I carefully moved inward while sitting on the railing. I also clearly saw a group of people following behind her. Too many people. I'm afraid of socializing. You guys go. Katherine Johnson immediately told the others to leave first. I moved inward a few more steps. Actually, I'm also afraid of heights. But to climb down right now would be too embarrassing. When facing something I don't know what to do about, I just go crazy first. Why do we have to work until New Year's Eve? Damn it, I'm going to report you all and have you arrested. But the government this year doesn't. Don't jump. Seeing me shift again, she panicked, and with a thump, she immediately knelt down. In that instant, the rooftop was silent. The only sound was the wind by my ears. I looked at the person kneeling on the ground. Our eyes met. Please stand up. I don't have any red money gifts." Katherine Johnson was also stunned. After a moment of silence, her eyes suddenly became resolute. "No, if you don't come down, I will kneel here until I die." Damn, is this person sick? We finally compromised. She stood up, and I climbed down. Why can't you think a little more positively? Payday is next week. Katherine Johnson opened her mouth to counsel me, but she struck right at my vulnerability. I immediately recoiled toward the railing. She knelt down again. Both of us seemed to have developed a conditioned reflex. She looked at me, almost crying. What are you doing? At least have some pity for my knees. Then have some pity for us working people. Look for the reason within yourself. How many years has it been since you led the company to good profits? How long has it been since our salaries were increased? When the money hit my account last month, the meager amount was so small I didn't even think it was my salary. I thought it was a refund from some online purchase. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got, and I shifted outward a bit more. Katherine Johnson was so anxious she was almost ready to kowtow to me. Don't die. Everyone knows I came to find you. If you die, I'm the #1 suspect. I beg you, you can have anything you want. As long as you don't jump, I will help you solve it. I want a raise. Okay. Tell the manager to reimburse me the $13. Okay. I can't find a partner. Can I be your matchmaker? Saying this, Katherine Johnson took out her phone and started introducing people to me. What kind of person do you like? Come and choose for yourself. It sounded so intriguing. Could the female boss have a side gig? It was only then that I stood up and moved closer. Who knew Katherine Johnson would open her Facebook Moments feed? Wow, the first post was a photo of a beautiful girl by a yacht. The next post was a photo of another beautiful girl drinking champagne on a private jet. My friends list is full of high-quality goods. Tell me which one you like. Really? I looked at the beautiful girl with the fiery figure in the third post. And the drool at the corner of my mouth was unstoppable. This one. What do you think? 5 feet, 7 inches tall, works in a government agency. Both parents are high-ranking officials. Everyone calls her the eldest miss of San Francisco. I looked at the extraordinarily charismatic woman in the photo and nodded excitedly right away. Katherine Johnson acted quickly. The next day, she brought the person in front of me. The self-introduction I had prepared all night hadn't even started before the woman's words interrupted me. Have you passed the civil service exam? The blind date failed. I aggressively pinched Katherine Johnson's thigh. If you try to turn the company into a state-owned enterprise, wouldn't I have a civil service position? What's the use of encouraging yourself? You should be encouraging others. It's okay, I'll introduce someone else to you. Katherine Johnson dodged and called someone else for me. How about this person? From the Northeast, high quality, honest, knows how to care for the family, wealthy, known as the big sister of Boston. That afternoon, the person arrived, dressed with carved gold chains. Although her style was flashy, she was genuinely a nice person. Little brother, if you need anything in the future, just tell your big sister, I've got your back. I'll open a store for you. Katherine Johnson hid far away, quietly cheering me on. But before we could exchange 2 sentences, Big Sister suddenly told me to stand up. Why are you so short? You're not even as tall as a green onion. I failed the blind date once again. I cried my eyes out in the coffee shop in New York. Katherine Johnson's thigh was bruised from my pinching. It's okay. I can call someone else. On the third day, I met the eldest misses of the Florida Circle and the Texas Circle. One complained that I was from out of town. The other said she went abroad early and wasn't used to life in the country. In the evening, I was actually supposed to meet the eldest miss of the California Circle. But I failed before even meeting her. The reason was that the sea goddess said we were incompatible. On the 4th day, Katherine Johnson said she called the eldest miss of Ohio for me. And she called 13 people in one go. They were called the 13 Guardians of Ohio. Before I could speak, they started fighting over whose family was richer. That evening, I was stood up by the eldest miss of Washington State. I heard she had food poisoning and was in the hospital. On the 5th day, Katherine Johnson called the eldest miss of Arizona, Nevada. We were talking very well until a woman burst in. The two of them kissed. I sat next to them, feeling dazzling for the first time. Perhaps because I had been through so much these past few days. I wasn't surprised by this scene at all. I even had a strange sense of calm. No wonder the eldest misses in novels are all in this kind of wealthy circle. 5 days of blind dates yielded no results, but I witnessed someone else's love story. I heard the two of them had always been ambiguous, and this blind date made them realize their feelings. Regarding this, I only wanted to say, I'll die with your grandpa. In the end, the eldest miss of Arizona, Nevada, to thank me for being a witness, gave me a spicy hot pot base. Katherine Johnson said she was arranging another eldest miss for me and would introduce her to me in the next few days. Why does your phone have so many eldest misses? Hearing this, she confidently lifted her head, just like a hen that had just laid an egg. Of course, it's because of my corresponding family background. So, Katherine Johnson is also an eldest miss. In short, my connections are very good. I guarantee I can introduce you to the right person. This is called moving in the right circles, following the right person. With a female boss like me, you should be secretly happy. I didn't say anything, I just punched her in the nose. What are you doing? How many years has the Great Dynasty been gone? Is it reasonable for a country to produce so many eldest misses? Afterward, I downloaded the Study the Great Nation app onto her phone. Read more books. People used to bind their feet. Are you binding your brains? After the failed blind dates, I returned to the company to work. Since the day I nearly jumped, the company had updated the holiday notice. We could go home early, no longer needing to make dumplings at the company on New Year's Eve. Thank goodness my little dog couldn't cook 4 dishes and 1 soup for the reunion dinner. It still had to rely on me, but leaving early meant rushing the work. I was busy non-stop. The manager still remembered the $13 incident and intentionally made things difficult for me. These tasks must be finished today, don't leave if they're not done. He was holding a grudge because I had cursed him. I only found out later that when I called, he was in a company meeting. Seeing me call, he thought I was asking about work. To show off in front of Katherine Johnson, he even intentionally put me on speakerphone. Who knew I was calling to threaten to jump? I heard that when Katherine Johnson heard this, she let out a piercing scream in the office. Immediately, she led a group of people to rescue me. Remember, all documents must be printed out, and this one, the manager kept rambling on. I clenched my fists. Fine, the new year is coming, I'll endure it. A step back is a sea of vastness and a sky full of stars. But I couldn't hold back anymore. Are you crazy? I slammed the table and stood up. The result was that I slammed too hard, and I hadn't eaten breakfast. With low blood sugar, I fell straight down. Immediately, everyone in the office gasped. Before closing my eyes, I saw Katherine Johnson just happening to walk into our department office. There was a woman waving at me above her head. I must have fallen too hard. When I opened my eyes again, I saw a crowd surrounding me. Seeing me wake up, Katherine Johnson excitedly pushed everyone aside and rushed over. You're finally awake. I thought you had a sudden death. If an employee suddenly dies before the new year, I wonder how much the company's stock will drop. Saying this, Katherine Johnson lifted me up like a chick and carried me to the manager. You tell me, why did our Mary Jackson suddenly faint? The manager looked at me, cold sweat pouring down his forehead. I'm not sure. He was fine before coming to work. Look, now he's fainted. If I had been a little late, would he have died? Where would I find an employee who works like a horse for $3,500 per month then? Don't scold me, don't scold me, I'm sweating cold all over. The manager repeatedly apologized to me. That afternoon, he received a dismissal notice. I watched the manager, gray-faced, pack his things, still unable to react. After all, firing a manager is not easy, at least double compensation is required. This time, even my colleagues couldn't sit still and clustered around, asking me about the situation. What's your relationship with the female boss? A normal superior-subordinate relationship. If I have to say, she's also my matchmaker, and this matchmaker is extremely dedicated. She even sent me a few more profiles of female candidates. Come to my office and choose right now. I'll arrange it for you. So, I took advantage of the moment when no one was paying attention and sneaked into the female boss's office to choose women. This level of treatment, to call it the ceiling for an employee, is probably not an exaggeration. Right? Boss, did you really fire the manager? Katherine Johnson was still signing documents with her head down, hearing this. She didn't even look up. Yes. If I didn't fire him, should I let him enjoy the new year? It's just because of me, it feels a bit awkward. Our relationship is getting a little ambiguous. Hearing my words, the woman lifted her head from the pile of documents. She pushed the metal-rimmed glasses on the bridge of her nose. Her eyes behind the lenses looked inscrutable. Last month, The company discovered that a mid-level manager had secretly taken bribes from a client. This is a major taboo. And he was among them. It just so happens that I can use him to scare others. Only then did I feel relieved. After all, based on my years of reading novels, getting involved with the female boss is too disadvantageous. I won't be able to ask for a raise openly and honestly anymore. Katherine Johnson gave me 3 profiles and told me to choose for myself. They are all rare talents. So, can I choose all of them? An adult doesn't need to choose. She looked up at me, with an unspoken meaning in her eyes. I didn't understand, only looking straight at her. All right, it just so happens that I have a party tonight, you'll come with me. Attending a party with the boss? Can this be counted as overtime pay? Clack, the fountain pen in Katherine Johnson's hand stabbed firmly into the white paper. She managed a forced smile and said through gritted teeth, yes. That evening, I attended the party with Katherine Johnson in Los Angeles. There were quite a few stars and celebrities gathered at the party. I lowered my head to look at the simple clothes on my body. Even if I said I was a waiter, no one would probably doubt it, right? Boss, maybe I should change into another outfit? After all, it's a blind date. It's fine. What's important about appearance? The inner beauty is what matters. But in cases where the appearance is not good, I don't think anyone will care about my inner beauty, right? But this quickly became irrelevant, because the 3 women I was supposed to meet for a blind date didn't show up. I heard one was taken abroad by her parents overnight. One suddenly developed a high fever in the evening. The last one, on her way there, saw people arguing on the side of the road. Curious, she stopped to watch, and a flying slipper hit her head, knocking her unconscious on the spot. The reality proves that when driving a convertible sports car to watch drama, it's best to close the roof. Looking at the women who slipped away, I sighed. I noticed from the corner of my eye that Katherine Johnson also let out a sigh of relief. Was she also regretting the twists and turns in my path to finding love? Boss, if the blind dates have failed, I'll excuse myself and leave. Your overtime pay has been paid, you must stay here with me. The relief that had just begun after the failed blind dates was immediately overshadowed by the sorrow of working overtime. In the complicated party setting, I thought Katherine Johnson had called me to be her drinking shield. In reality, no one was toasting her. But quite a few people came to greet her and respectfully hand over business cards. Boss, is your alcohol tolerance not very good? Saying this, she slowly extended a slender hand, making the number 1 sign. I can drink forever. Could it be that you have stomach problems and can't drink now? Common ailments of the domineering CEO, stomach pain and obsessive-compulsive disorder. Without these ailments, they'd be too embarrassed to call themselves a domineering CEO. Thank you for your concern, I am very healthy. Good health, annual checkups, even minor ailments can be treated. I am not lacking in money for this. It sounds very reasonable. Why do the domineering CEOs in novels have ways to delegate other people's problems but no way to cure their own stomach pain? Finally, being too bored, I found an excuse to run into the restroom. I shamelessly hid in a stall and started playing games. While waiting for the match to start, I heard people talking outside. I saw Katherine Johnson at the party just now, she looks amazing. But it's rare to see her bring a male companion. What, is that her boyfriend? I thought he was some clueless waiter who latched onto her. I was about to complain. Hiding in the stall, I suddenly felt a dart hit my knee. Isn't that Katherine Johnson's boyfriend? Never seen a boyfriend. In their circles, there's no such concept as a boyfriend. That's called an attendant. So, Katherine Johnson hasn't found her attendant because she has something else on her mind? They don't even use the term girlfriend. The cultural level of this circle really needs improvement. No wonder so many eldest misses can appear. But I heard that Dr. Fan fell in love with Katherine Johnson at first sight and keeps pursuing her. And they even had dinner together? Who knows how many of Dr. Fan's words are true? But speaking of which, it's not even certain whether Katherine Johnson likes men. I heard rumors before. My legs were getting numb, so I tried to change my posture. I suddenly heard such shocking gossip. It was like a tiny hook constantly scratching at my heart. I immediately leaned my ear closer to listen carefully. I heard that Katherine Johnson has always been looking for a young girl before. Maybe she doesn't like men at all. Big gossip. Truly big gossip. Is this the kind of gossip a small employee like me should be hearing? It's a pity they only exchanged a few more sentences and then left. I stepped out of the restroom and saw Katherine Johnson waiting at the door. I thought you had fallen in, and I was about to call someone to fish you out. I didn't dare to speak, only glancing at Katherine Johnson. Attending the party today, she was more delicately made up than usual. Her hair was meticulously styled. The cufflinks on her sleeves were exquisite. Standing amidst the crowd, she truly stood out. The image of a youthful, elegant girl. But why wouldn't a girl with such rosy lips and white teeth like men? I silently sighed, withdrawing my gaze. Only a few days remained until the new year. Katherine Johnson arranged another blind date for me. But this person, Katherine Johnson, looked at me with an unsaid meaning in her eyes. Countless possibilities flashed through my mind. Is she ugly, or is her family poor? It couldn't be a violent person who is quick to use her hands. Could it? So, how much money should I spend then? This person is a bit excessively clean. She's here this time to discuss business. But I casually asked if she wanted to go on a blind date. And she agreed right away. Perhaps her family is pressuring her urgently. As soon as Katherine Johnson finished speaking, I saw a figure appear at the restaurant door. The woman had a slender figure and extraordinary composure. Her hair was neatly styled. On her face was a calm and straightforward smile. If I absolutely had to use one adjective to describe her, it would be perfect. So perfect that she seemed like a mannequin. Hello, I am Grace Hopper. The woman sat opposite me. Katherine Johnson had left early. But before leaving, she looked at Grace Hopper for a long time. Grace Hopper said she was from Canada, and her family was involved in foreign trade business. She came here this time to discuss business with Katherine Johnson. Did you come on a blind date with me because you are afraid of offending Katherine Johnson, and your business deal won't succeed later? How could that be? Our cooperation is mutually beneficial. There's no question of me being afraid of offending her. If I have to say, Grace Hopper stirred the coffee cup in her hand, looking at me meaningfully. My family is pressuring me quite urgently, hoping I can meet more people. It seems she is another person being pressured by her family. Just like me, even someone as outstanding as her is in the same situation. It seems my being pressured to marry is nothing. After sitting for a while, Grace Hopper asked if I wanted to go see a movie. We could also discuss some recently released films. As soon as I agreed, I noticed Katherine Johnson in the distance. She was staring intently at me, although she was nearby during previous blind dates. Since they all failed after just a few sentences, I hadn't noticed how terrifying Katherine Johnson's gaze was. She sat motionless like a wooden statue. Her sharp eyes stared straight at me. It was like being stalked by a wolf. Before I could figure out what Katherine Johnson's gaze meant, Grace Hopper took me away. We went to the movies and had dinner together. We exchanged contact information. The entire weekend passed by in dates. On Monday morning, the manager suddenly called me into the office mysteriously. He told me to take a document upstairs. The manager is gone, so this document should have been submitted by me. But I think you're more suitable. Oh, I understand. The company doesn't support but doesn't oppose office romance. It's fine if you and CEO Lou keep it low-key. Isn't this me creating an opportunity for you two to meet? Before I could explain, the manager shoved the document into my hand. He told me to quickly send it to Katherine Johnson. It must be the end of the year. Many documents are sent to the boss's office. When I entered the office, she was buried under documents. I could only rely on her slightly complaining voice to confirm that the person was still in the office. Boss, the document has been sorted, put it there. How are things going with your date with Miss Hopper? It's all right, she's not a bad person. As soon as I finished speaking, the fountain pen in Katherine Johnson's hand stabbed forcefully into the paper again. If you think it's good, then it's good. Could you help me print an extra copy of this document? The printer was in the corner of the office. As soon as I started the machine, I heard Katherine Johnson's sincere voice from behind. Don't be too casual when looking for a partner. You must choose carefully. You can't just look at the appearance. Got it. Thank you for the guidance, boss. You must open your eyes wide. Some people look respectable, but they are actually clean freaks and quiet. You must be cautious, extremely cautious. Was she talking about Katherine Johnson herself? To avoid embarrassing the management, I still obediently replied, I trust the boss's judgment. The person you introduced certainly can't be wrong. Katherine Johnson's expression darkened a few more shades. The office also fell silent. Before I could find a topic of conversation, the office door was knocked. CEO Katherine, Mr. Clint would like to see you. I noticed that Katherine Johnson seemed annoyed. She rubbed her temples and said, let him in. The door opened, and a handsome guy rushed in. I tried to minimize my existence. I put the printed document on the desk and left immediately. Did you miss me? Why are you frowning? Saying this, Clint lunged straight into Katherine Johnson's arms, as if she were a magnet. I thought I was about to witness some shocking scene. Who knew Katherine Johnson would immediately dodge? I only heard a thump, and Clint fell heavily to the ground. I carefully closed the door. In the last moment, I heard Clint's slightly angry voice. How dare you treat me like this? Can our cooperation still be enjoyable? I almost couldn't believe my ears. Would Katherine Johnson really endure being sexually harassed by a partner for the company? Did the time I cursed her on the rooftop, saying she hadn't led the company to good profits, hurt her deeply? But it shouldn't be to the extent of being so ruthless, should it? It was a rare sunny noon. Everything was processed, just waiting for the holiday. Taking advantage of the lunch break, I went up to the rooftop to bask in the sun. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Katherine Johnson in the distance. Seeing me, she trembled instinctively. Are you jumping again? It seems the trauma I left her was significant, but I only wanted to come up here to sunbathe. I walked next to her and noticed. Katherine Johnson was hiding a pile of snacks in her hand. Spicy strips, chocolate, biscuits, and next to her was a steaming bowl of spicy hot pot. Why are you eating on the rooftop? What else am I supposed to do? Look, is there any space left on my desk? What if the Latia oil drips onto the documents? How will I explain? Katherine Johnson gave me an unhappy glance, continuing to gnaw on the half-eaten chicken foot in her hand. Why is this person such a powder keg? Could it be that because I witnessed her being implicitly harassed by a partner, she is taking her anger out on me? How are your dates with Miss Hopper going? Caring about me? Do you love me now? As soon as I said this, both of us were stunned on the spot. A strange pink blush appeared on Katherine Johnson's ears. She quickly explained, I just said that casually. I'm simply curious about your dating life. Didn't you say it was very good? We even have dinner plans tonight. The fragrant chicken foot in Katherine Johnson's hand fell. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. I could only quickly change the subject. Where did you buy that spicy hot pot? It smells so good. I thought domineering CEOs like you wouldn't buy such things. At least it should be a $288 lettuce quality from a Michelin restaurant. Because someone once took me to eat it. I felt Katherine Johnson's gaze examining me, yet also looking through me to see someone else. At that time, the pressure every day was immense. I didn't know what to do. Until one day, someone took me to eat a bowl of spicy hot pot. It sounded like a story of transitioning from simple rice to rich congee. I felt a slight contempt in my heart. A person who could be fooled by a bowl of spicy hot pot is definitely not a good woman. So, later when you are stressed, you buy spicy hot pot to eat? No, I was just craving it. Besides, I'm already this rich. What troubles do I have? My bad, I was redundant to ask that question. Craving food? Who can crave food more than you? You big glutton. I angrily stood up, preparing to leave. Katherine Johnson's voice came from behind. Are you really going on a date tonight? Yes, I already made plans with Grace Hopper. The reservation was at a very famous restaurant. The kind of restaurant where one meal can consume my entire month's salary. Naturally, I must rush to take advantage of a free meal. When the waitress brought up a potted plant and told me there was only one edible fruit inside, valued at $899, I still felt that my poverty had limited my imagination. If you like it, you can order another portion. I smiled without saying anything. Actually, compared to this meal, I preferred her to transfer the money to me directly. Mary Jackson, I always feel that you are very special. Before Grace Hopper could finish speaking, the waitress brought up 5 plates of cucumbers. They were just ordinary cucumbers. They didn't fit with the other high-end dishes, but they were fresh and full of vitality. We didn't order this dish. The waitress also looked innocent. A lady ordered it. The waitress looked around but couldn't find the person. These plates of cucumbers were returned. No need to worry about this small matter. Grace Hopper changed to a gentle look. She evaluated me. I called you here today mainly to tell you. I feel that you. Her hand slowly moved closer. Just as it was about to touch mine, the phone next to my hand suddenly made a faint noise. It was the sound of money. A red envelope. I almost reflexively opened my phone. The company group chat, which had been dormant for a long time, was moving. Katherine Johnson was sending red envelopes again. Katherine Johnson was rarely generous, sending over 20 red envelopes continuously in the group. I managed to grab nearly $1. It's just that the dating atmosphere seemed to be diluted by my joy of grabbing red envelopes. Fortunately, Grace Hopper didn't mind. When checking out, she even sighed. We shouldn't have returned those cucumbers just now. Weren't those ordinary cucumbers, or are you still hungry? No need, those cucumbers just now definitely tasted different. Of course they're different. After all, the cucumbers bought at the vegetable market cost only $10 for a few. But the cucumbers here must sell for $288. The cucumbers just now might even taste sour. Grace Hopper's words puzzled me. Even stranger was the restaurant's parking lot. I saw a familiar car. It looked like Katherine Johnson's car. I didn't dwell on it. Only the last 3 days remained until the Lunar New Year holiday. My heart was long gone from the company. Every day at work, I stared blankly at the computer screen. After work, I wanted to go home and accompany my little dog. My colleague next to me talked about offering cat-sitting services during the Lunar New Year. He said it could earn a small amount. In the past, my parents pressured me too much about marriage, so I planned to avoid them. I flat out didn't buy a ticket home. Since I have nothing to do during the holiday, should I go make some money? As soon as this thought occurred, the opportunity to earn money arrived. Come to my house and help me deal with my family. Katherine Johnson nodded repeatedly. I'll pay you triple overtime pay. Settled immediately. How could I refuse such a good deal? Why didn't I hear you say before that your parents also pressured you to marry? Katherine Johnson drove toward her house in Miami. Her eyes looked straight ahead. Her tone calm. They just occasionally bring it up. After all, I'm not young anymore. That's right, Katherine Johnson is only 2 years older than me. At this age, people have already inherited hundreds of billions in assets. I heard she even owns several wind power generation facilities in Nevada. Other places have invested in hydroelectric power stations. Regardless of the wind or rain, money flows into her pocket. I can only scan for good fortune on Alipay every day, hoping that this time the $100 million red envelope will be split a little more generously. My God, I won't call you a domineering CEO anymore. Arriving at the destination, Katherine Johnson parked the car in front of a villa. I looked at the 4-story villa in front of me. This was actually my first time meeting her family, even if it was fake, but it was unavoidable to feel nervous. But I didn't expect the other party to be so enthusiastic. Oh my goodness, is this Mary Jackson? Quickly close the door, don't let him run away. I was like the Tang monk who strayed into the spider cave. I was pulled into the villa. A beautiful lady asked about me affectionately. He is truly a good child. I received a warm welcome at Katherine Johnson's house. Her parents even forgot they had a daughter. They kept asking me questions non-stop. I really couldn't handle this enthusiasm. I made an excuse to go to the restroom to avoid them. As soon as I came out of the restroom, I heard the voice of the couple in the kitchen. Our daughter finally brought someone home. And it's a boy. That's great. We thought she was going to bring a girl home. That scared me to death. So, before this, Katherine Johnson's parents all thought she would bring a girl home. Is she possibly homosexual, and she sought my help because she didn't want her parents to worry? The more I thought about it, the more possible it seemed. But I'm just working for money. Just as I was about to enter the kitchen to help, Katherine Johnson's mother pulled my hand upstairs. I'll take you to Katherine Johnson's room to play. Have you seen her childhood photos? That's not very appropriate, Auntie. Aren't you two boyfriend and girlfriend? What's inappropriate? This is the most inappropriate place. We are not boyfriend and girlfriend. Is the boss's room a place I can just enter casually? But Auntie didn't give me a chance to refuse. She led me directly into a room. On the way, Katherine Johnson said she rarely came back here, but her room was cleaned very neatly. Come here, I'll show you her childhood photos. Auntie took a stack of photo albums out of the closet. Inside were all kinds of photos. Recorded from when Katherine Johnson was a baby. I have to say this person was indeed beautiful from childhood to adulthood. It was almost a progression from a little girl to a young woman to a beauty. It's just that some photos looked familiar. These are all photos of Katherine Johnson during college. Something happened in the family then, and her father was seriously ill. She carried the company alone, and the pressure was too great, so she stopped liking to smile. I flipped another page, looking at the girl with pursed lips in the photo. I only felt too familiar. I flipped another page, and this time a photo fell out. How did this fall out? The photo that fell out was quickly picked up by Auntie. A hint of confusion flashed across her face, but she still forced a smile. This photo is of Katherine Johnson with her cousin. I said I would return it to them, and I finally found it. Really? Just now? As I quickly glanced, the photo was of Katherine Johnson with a young girl with delicate features. They were wearing high school uniforms. The photo was probably taken with a phone. Both looked a bit awkward, but there was a smile on their faces. Yes, it's true. Look at the photos. Auntie tucked the photo against her chest, holding it tightly. Several times, when I tried to say something, Auntie skillfully diverted the conversation. After dinner, the couple gave me a large red envelope. I tried to give it back to Katherine Johnson, but she told me to keep it. She said it was compensation for overtime. Where can I find such a clear-headed boss? I was about to ask about the photo, but Katherine Johnson spoke first. What do you think of my parents? Very good, humorous, friendly, and approachable, although Auntie was a little too enthusiastic. Katherine Johnson seemed to let out a sigh of relief. She then carefully spoke. So, what do you think of Grace Hopper? Very good. She didn't say anything more. Successful career, mature, stable, and her appearance isn't bad. Very good, but you can't just look at the appearance. What I mean is, you should also look at her other aspects. For example, her manners, what her private life is like. Katherine Johnson's expression when she spoke was exactly like the gossipy aunts in my hometown. They only need 3 minutes, and the person being discussed in their mouths will be ruined. I looked at the woman driving, wanting to say something but held back. Just as I was about to speak, the phone rang, interrupting me. It was Grace Hopper's phone. Grace Hopper already has a boyfriend, and it was someone I knew but absolutely didn't expect. Hearing this news, I couldn't sleep all night. The next day, I was yawning widely while standing on the subway. I finally made it to the company gate. I struggled to keep my eyelids open, preparing to clock in. As soon as I picked up my phone, I saw someone in the distance. Katherine Johnson was talking to Clint. Let's stick to this arrangement in the future. I won't forget you. Clint smiled playfully, lunging directly into Katherine Johnson's arms. He gave her a passionate hug. Katherine Johnson was surprised and quickly pushed him away, but she suddenly noticed me in the distance. I felt like I was caught peeping. I immediately retreated in panic. It's not what you think, I didn't see anything. I instinctively backed away, but I didn't notice the flower bed next to me. My body fell backward, the back of my head hit the flower bed. Then my eyes went dark, and I fainted on the spot. Before closing my eyes, I saw Katherine Johnson's figure rushing toward me. Actually, the back of my head didn't hurt. I only fainted because I hadn't eaten breakfast. This damn low blood sugar condition. My consciousness was very clear. I could even feel a group of people helping me onto a stretcher. My hand was tightly held. Next to my ear, I heard Katherine Johnson crying, "Don't die. At least you have to give me a chance to explain. This damn flower bed, I'll find someone to demolish it today. Open your eyes and look at me. I haven't even confessed to you yet. You can't die. Do you have to cry in a Rolls Royce?" The sound was all Katherine Johnson's voice. It made my head ache. It seemed tears were falling onto the back of my hand. I used my last bit of strength and slapped Katherine Johnson's face. "Shut up." She immediately fell silent. The world was finally quiet. I took a moment to recover before opening my eyes. I was lying in a hospital in San Diego. "You're awake? Does your head still hurt?" "Who are you?" Katherine Johnson was stunned for a moment. She immediately replaced it with a gentle expression. "I'm your girlfriend. Our relationship is very good. We even plan to watch the stars and explore the moon together." I really couldn't hold back, and I slapped her again. What a great bluffer. Katherine Johnson quickly reacted. I was joking. Then, with a thump, she knelt down in front of me. The movement was so quick I couldn't react. Listen to my explanation. Clint and I have nothing going on. It's just because our two families have a business cooperation, so we occasionally meet. It's no more than 10 times a year. He's usually abroad, and the style there is more aggressive, so he's quite bold. But I push him away every time. Only this time, I wasn't successful. I absolutely can't be with him. Moreover, he's already with Grace Hopper. Right? I interrupted Katherine Johnson. I originally intended to tease her a little. I didn't expect that before I could attack. This person had already spilled all her tricks. You know already? Katherine Johnson froze on the spot, not recovering for a long time. I know. Grace Hopper called me last night. Actually, I could feel that Grace Hopper didn't have any intentions toward me. She called last night to tell me that she and Clint were together. She always had feelings for him, but Clint was a playboy who didn't want to be tied down. She deliberately made him jealous, which is why she dated me. Can you introduce someone reliable to me? Did you deliberately introduce people like that to me so I wouldn't succeed? How could I? Katherine Johnson's ears were bright red. She wiped the tears from her face, forced a smile, and said, "You weren't satisfied with so many people, so you just have to rely on yourself. Actually, I've liked you for a long time." This time, Katherine Johnson was completely dumbfounded. You didn't fall and wake up with some superpower to read minds. Did you? I wish I did, but I don't. Actually, it was just because of the photo that fell out yesterday. That wasn't a young girl, but a boy with long hair. Because my father died early, I was bullied from a young age. My mother was also a weak person. My heart was a bit depressed. I resisted people approaching me for no reason. This condition only improved in college. Yesterday, seeing her college photos already looked familiar. In the 11th grade, the school announced that an outstanding alumnus was coming back to give a speech. I took the opportunity to climb the wall and go out to play. I was caught by someone. That person had a deadpan expression. If it hadn't been broad daylight, I might have shouted, "Get lost." The person who caught me climbing the wall didn't report me. He even extended his hand to help me down. Out of gratitude, I invited him to eat a bowl of spicy hot pot. I chatted with him casually. After all, I had an excellent talent for teaching since I was young. Within a few sentences, I dug out the fact that he was under too much pressure. In the end, I resolutely took him to an internet cafe to play competitive games. But in the end, the teacher still found out about me skipping school by climbing the wall. Because that outstanding alumnus fundamentally didn't show up to give a speech. Everyone returned to the classroom, and the teacher noticed someone was missing. At that time, I never thought that person was her. I didn't expect it either. I was under immense pressure during that time, but after you went with me to eat spicy hot pot, I felt much better. Afterward, I had to both study and take care of the company. By the time I reacted and wanted to find you, I realized I didn't have your contact information. The only thing I had was a photo of us together. It was Katherine Johnson who proactively suggested it when we parted ways. Although it was only a brief time together, we felt like old friends. Katherine Johnson handed her phone to a passerby and asked them to take a picture of us. I went to your school to look for you, but I didn't know your name. And I was afraid of disturbing you, so I waited at your school gate every evening after self-study. It's a pity that I had already transferred to another school at that time. I later passed the college entrance exam smoothly. After graduating from college, I came to Katherine Johnson's company. Destiny is truly magical. To be honest, when the company had a big meeting, I saw you in the elevator and almost didn't recognize you. Although I realized then that you were a boy. Seeing you with short hair, she lowered her head again, and after a while, she whispered, "You're quite handsome, too." So, I wasn't handsome with long hair? You were handsome, too. This time, Katherine Johnson answered definitively. The two of us looked into each other's eyes. Her face was blushing. Then why did you introduce blind dates to me? Wasn't it because I wanted to introduce you to some weird people so you would realize how good I am? If those eldest misses knew that Katherine Johnson described them like that, they would probably be furious. Then can you agree to me? Katherine Johnson looked at me expectantly. The sunlight outside the window shone on her face. Her eyes were like stars. Mary Jackson, we came to visit you. The door of the ward was suddenly pushed open. A group of colleagues rushed into the ward with flowers and fruit baskets. After a brief moment of silence, everyone gasped. We didn't see anything. The leader quickly reacted. He led the others crowding out. In the chaos, someone even had their shoe trampled off. Why did we have to witness such an awkward scene? CEO Catherine won't fire us. Will she? What were they talking about? I doubtfully turned my head. I saw Katherine Johnson at my eye level. I suddenly realized she had been kneeling all this time. Get up quickly. The company gossip group is definitely going to be full of my name now. Katherine Johnson was about to stand up when she remembered something. She abruptly knelt down again. No, if you don't agree, I won't stand up. Are you cheating? Yes, I'm cheating. If you don't agree, I won't stand up. I looked at the woman in front of me, sighing helplessly. She's already like this. What can I do? I can only spoil her.